Shaykh Muhammad comes from a long line of scholars. He's an Idrisi Sharif, which means his ancestors, he has a tree, a family tree that goes back at least 2,000 years. So he has that lineage of being a direct descendant of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and the Prophet has many descendants around the world. Shaykh Muhammad, his father was a great scholar, Shaykh Ibrahim Al-Yaqoubi. I have some of his books in my library. He's a well-known Damascene scholar. And Shaykh Muhammad, from a very early age, was trained in the Islamic sciences. He was trained very early on. He gave his first khutbah really at about, I think, 13 in Damascus, which is very unusual. He memorizes a vast amount of information, like many of the Islamic scholars. And not only does he have a prodigious memory, but he also has great understanding. I've read several books with him, and I've read books with really some of the great scholars in the Muslim Ummah. And so you can tell, both the teacher and the student can tell whether the student is understanding, and also the level of the teacher's ability to unlock the abstruse aspects of a book that you're reading. So Shaykh Muhammad is really a master of our tradition. Shaykh Abdullah bin Bayya, who, as far as I'm concerned, I have not met a scholar of his level yet. I really haven't. And I can honestly say that I have met many, many great scholars in the Muslim world, but I haven't met a scholar, Shaykh Abdullah bin Bayya's level. He considers Shaykh Muhammad to be also a really, really notable scholar, especially for his age, because he's still quite relatively young for scholars. Scholars tend to come into their own in their 60s and 70s is when they really begin to give a lot in terms of their wisdom. But he wrote this book, Inqadh al-Ummah. It's actually a fatwa, and I'll just, for those of you who don't know what a fatwa is a legal, non-binding legal opinion of a scholar in something that might have difference of opinion. Now, a fatwa could actually end up being determined to be agreed upon, but generally fatwas have difference of opinion. So a fatwa is simply what we call legal responsa. It's when a lawyer, in our culture we go for legal counsel, and we ask the lawyer, what's the situation here? And the lawyer says, well, you're in compliance with the law, you're not in compliance with the law. I wanted to just read a few short passages from this fatwa of Shaykh Muhammad. One of them is that he wrote a chapter, it's in the 9th section, called Ahkam al-Muslimin fi Bilad al-Gharb, the rules, categories of the Muslims in the land of the Western peoples. And he says, وَلَيْسَ بَيْنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ وَبَيْنَ الدُّوَلِ الْغَرْبِيَّةِ الْيَوْمَ حَرْبٌ. There is not between the Muslims and Western countries today a war. وَالْحَرْبُ لَا تُشَنُّ مِنْ قِبْرِ أَفْرَادٍ. War cannot be declared by individuals. And it's not permissible for an individual or a group to declare war against any country. That is the specific prerogative of governmental authority. And this would only be the highest governmental authority in the land. So Shaykh Muhammad says it's not for individuals to declare war. And he said that that we have between the Western states, as a Syrian, he would be speaking here, and Muslim countries, that we have between these states, uqud aman, which are these covenants of security, that you come into the country. When Shaykh Muhammad came here, he got a stamp in his visa. That's a aqd aman. That's saying that you are lawfully entering this country and you have the rights of people in this country to be protected, to not be accosted by the government. Those are rights that come in. But he also, there's rights and responsibilities. Coming into the country, when you take a aqd of aman, you cannot betray that. And he quotes some of the scholars, he quotes a Hanafi scholar, arguing that if you go into the lands of the non-Muslims, you have to obey their laws. And so he says millions of Muslims have moved since the mid part of the 20th century to Europe and America, fleeing with their religion and also seeking knowledge and looking for economic opportunities that they didn't find in their countries. And they were met in those countries with welcoming and help, despite the difference of religion, of language, of culture, and of norms. And they, not only that, صاروا ينفقون على الغريب المسلم بلا تمييز بينه وبين أهل البلاد. They actually would spend on these Muslim strangers without discriminating between them and people from the host country. So how would it be permissible? هل جزاء الإحسان إلى الإحسان? How would it be permissible for a Muslim to break the covenant and be treacherous? And so he says, this would never occur from a Muslim who fears God, never. And so I thought that was very interesting. But I think Shaykh Muhammad's he'll cover some of the points in the book. It's an excellent book. It's written in English, so this is a little commercial. You can get this on Amazon, and I think you can download it as it's a short book, but I think it's a very clear argument. It's been translated into English also.